I was talking to this human the other day about what to do with her peas her ex gave her. I said, boil them for 10 minutes. Apparently, it's my fault she ended up in hospital with burns to her lips.
You muddy fugglers, sit down, get yourselves comfortable. We're going to read some news. There's certain chat applications out there that are encrypted, other ones that aren't. And we all use them, the encrypted and the unencrypted ones. But when you think you're having a private conversation and that conversation ends up being not quite as private as you thought it was, have you been betrayed in some way? Or were you just being naive and not looking at the full potential of who owns the data that you're sprinkling all over these corporations? Along those lines is this article from CNET, written by Blake Stimac. Private Claude conversations have been indexed by search engines. Shared Claude chats were made readily available for anyone who knew where to look. So are they going with security through obscurity? They're assuming that people won't be able to read these chats because they don't have the URLs to get to them. But if they're indexed by search engines, maybe they'll just crop up. Over the weekend, private Claude AI chats were made publicly accessible by search engines like Google and Bing, making for a privacy nightmare for the people involved in the chatbot's maker, Anthropic. Privacy concerns surrounding AI have always been around, but as these tools become more capable of pushing into your daily workflow with agentic capabilities, the threat of private data exposure is more timely than ever. This latest example shows that even simply sharing a conversation with others can get it exposed to a significantly larger audience. Initially spotted by Reddit users, the common factor in the problem seems to be that the indexed conversations were shared, a common option within most AI chats, allowing anyone with a link to view what had been said in the Claude conversation itself. Okay, there's a caveat there. You've gone done shared it. Now, I'm not quite as concerned now. This feature is apparently not completely protected from web crawlers, and personal conversations, while initially shared by users with people they chose, were exposed to the entire internet to see if one knew where to look. Conversations indexed included medical records, sensitive personal information, internal corporate data, and explicit content. I suppose if I were to share a conversation with somebody in a encrypted chat, would that then make it accessible externally, or would it have to be shared somewhere publicly? I assume the latter. If it's been publicly shared, then it is public. It's become a public conversation. They could be viewed within Google and Bing with a simple search and adding cite Claude AI/share to the query, yielding a trove of conversations, most of which have since been removed. Artifacts, tools, visualizations, and shareable apps were also accessible through search engines. This isn't the first time this has happened. Last year, Forbes reported the same thing happening with Anthropic. Hundreds of conversations appeared on Google's search results, only for them to be scrubbed later. An Anthropic spokesperson told CNET that this system is working as it should, and that when people decide to share their conversations, they're making them publicly accessible. I think I agree. I think if you've gone and shared a conversation, even if that has your medical records in it, if you've put it in a publicly facing space, you've gone and done that. It's not Anthropic's fault. Shareable links are not guessable or discoverable unless people choose to share them themselves, the spokesperson said. When someone shares a conversation, they were making that content publicly accessible, and like other public web content, it may be archived by third-party services. Glenn Gabe, an SEO and AI search consultant at G Squared Interactive, explained to CNET how this likely happened. It involves a .txt file called robots.txt, which is attached to the root of the website and contains directives about what bots can crawl and what they can't. Gabe says some companies don't understand how Google and Bing treat URLs being blocked by robots.txt, despite Google's developer documents explaining the functionality of the file. If you block Google or Bing from crawling your content, they can still index those URLs just without crawling the content, Gabe says. Without crawling a page's content, search engines also can't see any directives in the HTML. That's why no indexing URLs that are blocked by robots.txt doesn't make any sense. Gabe says that if a company had public URLs like shared Claude chats, Anthropic should no index the content and not block crawling robots.txt. That way, while the content would still be on the web, it wouldn't be indexed by search engines, and the only people with a specific link would be able to find the shared chats. If ever there were a good time to adjust your privacy settings and delete old conversations from your go-to AI chatbot, it's now. To view your shared chats in Claude, go to Settings, Privacy, Shared Chats. Interesting. So there is a grey area. If you've gone shared your stuff, it's out there. It's in the ether of the internet. And don't expect that to be private anymore. 'Tis public now, and you've gone done that, you've gone shared it. That's not Claude's fault, although Claude is not properly blocking things, I guess this person is claiming. I don't care so much now that I realize that it's because the content has been shared. You've done that, that's your issue. Don't share private conversations publicly if you don't want them to be public. And I think we should just stick with that, really. You should be careful. Be careful with your data. The end. But that is going to be it for now. Thank you for joining me. Wherever you are, if you like what I do, consider pressing that like button. Proper like me. You can also follow me. If you follow me where you're at, that's fine. But a good place to follow me would also be x.com/UltraSwinery. That's the goodiest place, because that's where I post all my other pigly related content. But that is it for now. And the only thing I have left to say is, Pigwig, out.
Oink, oinkity, snort, snuffle, snuffle, squee, oink, oink, wee, squeal, snort, snort, oinkity, squee. Oink, 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 squee, squee, wee, 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 snuffle, snort, squeal, squeal, oinkity, oink, snort, snort, squee, oink, 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 wee, 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 oh. Snort, snuffle, oink, squee, squeal, wee, snort, oinkity. Oinkity, oink, oink, snuffle, wee, squee, snort, oink, squeal. Oink, 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 squee, squee, wee, 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 snuffle, snort, squeal, squeal, oinkity, oink, snort, snort, squee, oink, 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 wee, 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 oh. Oink, oinkity, snort, snuffle, snuffle, squee, oinkity, oink, oink, snuffle, wee, squee, snort, oink, squeal. Oink, 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 squee, squee, wee, 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 snuffle, snort, squeal, squeal, oinkity, oink, snort, snort, squee, oink, 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 wee, 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 oh. Squeal, squeal. Snort, shuffle, oink, re-squeal, re-snort, oinky. Oinkity, oink, 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 snuffle, re-squeeze, snort, oink, squeal. Oink, oink, oinkity, squee, squee, re, snuffle, snort, squeal, squeal. Oinky, oink, snort, snort, squee. Oink, 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 re, oh. Squeal, squeal, snort, snuffle, oink.